it's Johanna, and welcome to another episode of What's in the Bag. And again, it's project bag, but it's also shopping bags because I went to my very first fiber festival. I went to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and it was absolutely fabulous. I had the best time. It was beautiful weather. So May in Maryland, so it was just sunny and green and filled with creative people that like yarn and wool and weaving and knitting and crochet and all of that stuff. And then of course, lots of sheep. So I had a blast. I went with my friend Arlene, who is a very, very experienced knitter, crocheter, weaver, spinner, author, so many things, designer, and she has been many, many, many times. So she was the perfect guide to take me to my first fiber festival. So I went with an empty duffel bag so I could bring some things home, and I'm going to show you what kind of goodies I came back with. So I hope you'll enjoy looking at what the craziness as much as I had fun there. If I can, I'm going to put some pictures of the sheep, and they had sheep herding demonstrations with with dogs. It was just so much fun. So first I'm going to open up a project bag with a project because I started something when I was at her house. I've tried to knit socks before. I tried once before to knit socks. And if you had ever been to Stitchcraft and you saw some of the ladies there, we had some really prolific sock knitters. I attempted to knit socks once, and I made the mistake of using a really dark yarn, and a really dark yarn is hard to see the pattern. So being a novice knitter and using a dark pattern, a dark yarn, it just was not ideal. So I put that project aside and never looked at it again. So I was introduced to a new pattern that she uses, and she's modified. It's actually called, here's the pattern. I don't know where it came from, but she modified it. It's called the Simple Sock in 3 sizes, and she modified it. This one's more ribbed. That's kind of what it looks like, but she modified it for me, and so I'm going to knit my first sock. So here's the cuff. Yay! So far, so good. And this is the yarn. I got this yarn at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and it's Miss Babs yarn. It's kind of fun that I get to talk about products that I didn't sell. And I said that before, that it's just really nice. So this is Miss Babs yarn. It's sock yarn, and it's called May Morning. And this was their special edition. A lot of the yarn companies came out with special edition yarn colors and blends that were only available at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And it was the 50th anniversary of the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, so that was really special to them. So this was Miss Bab's color for the event. And so I'm knitting some socks, and this is how far I got so far. And I'm knitting it on 2 circular needles. So I had tried to do it on small double pointed, and so she showed me a new method. So learning new things, yay. So I'm excited about that, and I'm gonna work on that today. I haven't had time really to work on it since I got home, but I'm gonna do it because I'm enjoying it. And that's, all about enjoying it and enjoying the journey, learning something new. I'm all about that. So, okay, so here is, I have another big bag here, but these are some of the things that I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So this is it's from Spinaway Farms, and this is actually, so these are dyed locks. So this is kind of how the sheep when you shear the sheep, it kind of comes off into like one big piece, and you'll see that in a minute. So you can kind of see they're all still attached. And sometimes the people that prepare the wool will felt it, and you can actually like kind of make this as like a boa. So I thought this would look really cool. I'll probably make it a little smaller, but I think I'm gonna go sew this onto the collar of a denim jacket, or depending on what my cardigan looks like, this could actually be like a cool collar to a cardigan. That's cool. So for part of it, I was wearing a pink shirt, chalking, and I was walking around with this. It matched perfectly. And I could just leave it like this and kind of wear it as a boa. But this is dyed locks from, I think the breed is Teeswater. So that, I just, had to have that. Okay, and let's see. This is some yarn. I got some yarn because, I don't have enough yarn. I have enough yarn. But it was really fun to buy some new yarn. So this is from Dancing Leaf Dye Works. It's called Shimmy. It's merino nylon, so it's sock yarn. So I got a couple of those. I saw some really neat patterns. I saw a really cool t-shirt. It's like a short sleeve sweater that I think would be really good for Florida. So I gotta get that, but I got these and then this as the accent. Ooh, isn't that hot? I like that. And, or if that's too much, I can use something like that. But so that was one of my yarn purchases. And I got some like discounted mohair because I learned how to do core spinning, and your mohair is really good for the core. So I got some inexpensive mohair to practice my core spinning. And let's see, here's a pin from the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, and my t-shirt. This was the t-shirt for the 50th anniversary of Maryland Sheep and Wool. And what else did I get? What else is in here? That might be it for here. Oh, I got some little, these are little shuttles. So besides wool and yarn, there was a lot of woodworkers that made cool tools, everything from weaving shuttles to drop spindles to yarn bowls and knitting needles and all kinds of things. So a lot of artisans there. There were a lot of handmade baskets. And if I wasn't flying, I think I would have come home with some like handmade baskets because they were just so beautiful. And of course, project bags, all of the usual fabulous handmade things. But these are like little shuttles made from woodworker. And what they're for is for weaving if you want to just do sections or if you're working on a small loom. But that's what I was educated that, nice ways to do like smaller sections of a loom is just to use one of these small things. So I got some little small shuttles that were handmade by a woodworker artist. Okay, so that's that bag. And there's more here. So this is, so I got some roving and some yarn. So this is roving because, I'm going to spin. So this is from Knits and Pearls Fiber Works. And look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? Okay, so this is a braid, and how you would spin this, I just like kind of take the braid apart and just kind of spin it right off of the braid section. And this has some of the sparkly, like Stellina or Angelina, whatever it is, but it's sparkly, it's so pretty. And this one is so soft. And I think I got it because I just had, so this is this is their 2023 special colorway called Counting Sheep. This is from Wild Hair. And I can't even tell you how soft this is. It's just so beautiful. It's merino, tencel, and stellina. So it also has a little bit of that sparkle to it. I love this. I just want to fondle all of this wool. And here's another one, also from Wild Hair. And this is Falk. Oh, this is also their special colorway. So this was it. I guess it's carded differently. And then this is made to a braid. So they kind of go together. So I think my intention was to spin them together. So this was carded all together. And this is kind of separated, like this in the braid. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. And this is, yep, so, okay, so that was another one of my purchases. And then let me grab the big bag. So I'm just gonna duck down and, okay, get my big pink bag. This was my other carry-on. All right, so, very exciting. I learned so much, and you know, when you can learn a lot about, you know, the arts and crafts that you like or things related, you know, see the sheep that you know, the kind of sheep that you like to use their wool. That's just special, you know, when you have more of a connection, more of an education. So it was it's fun that way. So, okay, this is stuff that I brought with me. So you've probably already seen some of my weaving, and then I'll show you. Arlene gave me some of these these are called locks, and so they're curly, and you can spin them right in when you're spinning, and it gives it this like amazing texture. So they're curly, and you can dye them because they're natural. So it's a fun thing to do. Okay, so I'll save this big one for last here. So this was kind of a grab bag of random, they called it a mystery bag. And this was from Green Goat Ranch. And actually, when I was at Green Goat Ranch, I saw one of the instructors from Knit and Escape, Amanda, who's an amazing spinner and dyer, and she was working at the booth. So yeah, so there's all kinds of pretty rovings in here, and then some dyed locks. So this is just kind of a fun, some Rolags. I love this. Okay, so this was just kind of a fun thing because I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. So I got this. Okay, so the big thing that we got, which is what a lot of people go to these festivals, these fiber festivals, is that you can buy the fleece. You can buy an entire sheep fleece. And so when they shear the sheep, I guess the way they do it is very often it'll come off as one big piece. And they have contests about them, so people will enter their fleece. People meaning like, you know, farmers and shepherds and shepherdesses will care for the sheep in preparation for selling their fleece. Sometimes they'll keep it in spin and dye and all that, but they had an entire building that was nothing but fleece and all different types of fleece and fleece contests, and it just was really, really, really interesting. And other people were selling fleece as well. So we got there early, and people got there early in order to get the best picks. So we got there early, and we really didn't have an intention to buy a fleece, but we bought a fleece, and Arlene and I split the fleece because it's really big. This fleece, which is merino, weighed 7 3/4 pounds, so we split it. So that's this is like almost 4 pounds of wool, and I need to wash it or scour it. And if you can see, it's got these really cool crimps. I know you can see this. And so this is what it looks like when it comes off the sheep. And you can see there's dirt, and it feels, you know, it has a greasy feel, but that grease is lanolin, which is in a lot of lotions. And when I tell you, like, your hands feel so good, you know, I was sitting there and I was like putting it on my cuticles because it just feels so good. So I am going to scour this, and there's some different ways to do that. And I know like Dawn dishwashing liquid can be one of them. And then I'm going to dry it, and I'll put it outside to dry. And then I'm going to spin some of it and maybe dye some of it. Now, I haven't done any dyeing of yarns or of like plain roving, but I did do some wool bat when I was doing the rug hooking. So I have some dye that I can do. You need heat to dye wool. But right now I'm going to first clean it, and then I'll figure out what to do. But it just feels so good. And I love the crimpiness of it. I think the texture of of yarn or whatever, you know, especially if I can keep some of this crimpiness in it, I think will be so cool. And it really smells like a sheep. So the reason why it's pretty white and it looks kind of clean is because the shepherdess farmers that had this sheep kept a coat on it, like a little sweater or a coat. So it keeps the coat, the fleece of the sheep clean. And they'll wear it, you know, when they're out in their yard or whatever, and it keeps a lot of the dirt off of them. And it's probably cozy too. So that keeps some of the fleece clean for those that are, I guess the people that raise the sheep if they're intending on selling them. You know, other people, they milk, they use, you know, sheep's milk for things, and they were showing the sheep and they breed the sheep, and it's just so fun. So, so that day was all about sheep and yarn and wool and all of the things that go along with sheep. I did not partake in some of the lunches that they offer. I will say that they had a lot of lamb, and I couldn't do that. So I had a delicious vegetarian artichoke lunch that was good, but my friends had some lamb and enjoyed it very much, but that's not for me. But I had a blast. So that is what is in my shopping bags and my project bags from the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival 2023. My first fiber festival is in the books, and now I have to decide what's next. Do I want to go to Rhinebeck, which is the New York Sheep and Wool Festival? That's like, I think one of the biggest, and you know, everybody said it's phenomenal. I've never heard anybody say they don't love it. So something to think about. But in the meantime, I have lots of things to keep me busy. I'm going to knit socks. I'm going to clean the wool, the raw fleece, and spin up some more yarn for my next project. So that is it. So much fun, such a great experience, and I can't wait to do it again. So thank you so much for watching what is in my projects bags, my shopping bags, and I do say to make time to make something, and we will see you again real soon. Bye.